Welcome back, and this is still the press on KAFTAN television, and like I said, we are reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Well, this is the segment where I'm being joined by a guest in the studio to analyze some of the headlines that made it to our national dealings. And of course, it's someone you know, it's someone you've seen several times, and of course, one of your favorites. Joining me this morning is Richard Oriri, who is a public affairs analyst and a politician. You're highly welcome.
It's my pleasure, Melite.
Good to have you.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning. Let me before we begin that, let me ask you, how was it for you getting down to the office or going to work this morning?
I came in my car, and I got fuel yesterday. It was so high. I bought at the rate of 980 naira from Rain Oil in Gwarimpa. And that's where we find ourselves.
Exactly, that's where we find ourselves. Let me also remind you, viewers, that this is the segment where you can call in to give in your contribution or ask a question while the show proceeds. Let me start by saying, where are we headed to? Because this was the particular headlines that are making route on the papers this morning. We are still the same one that made routes yesterday on yesterday's national dealings, and it's about this petrol scarcity. What is your thoughts? What is this? What do you think what Nigeria is facing now? The government is being fair enough with all the fuel price hike, regarding the fact that the federal government, as at last 2 weeks, gave marketers 1 month momentum to crash down the prices of commodities. Now, with this current situation, what is the real? What's the how will I put it? Is that achievable? Let me say.
What is there is that I listened to President KAFTAN President Prince Adewale Adebayo's interview on one of the national televisions yesterday. Okay. And I sincerely and wholeheartedly took everything that he said on that interview. And if Nigerians really, if the current administration really want to help Nigerians, they should listen to that interview very well and work with it. What is there is that Nigeria is a capitalist state already, and now they have given the capitalist SECO the management of Nigerian oil. If you look very critically, you see that NNPC is no longer NNPC, it's NNPCL. It's limited, so it's no longer a private, a public enterprise. It's now being privatized. They are there for business now. They don't listen to whoever is their customer. The one they look at is their profit, and their collaboration now with Dangote. Dangote is a core capitalist. And for the past how many weeks, how many days ago, you see, if you watch what is happening in Nigeria, even Bill Gates was in Nigeria. They say Nigeria is the only country that pays the lowest tax rate in the world. Now, meaning that the tax system is not something that the current administration will do away with. So now that Dangote is inside, we cannot just think of crashing fuel price any longer. It can't crash except the government come in to say they are bringing back subsidy, and from the look of things, the subsidy can never be reversed again. For now, the subsidy will never be reversed. The only alternative, according to what KAFTAN President Prince Adewale Adebayo said, is the only alternative is to shift ground from the use of fuel to either electrical vehicles, electric vehicles, and possibly gas vehicles that use gas, CNG, compressed liquid gas. You understand? So once we shift to that angle and government come into allowing the system to incorporate such vehicles to be almost everywhere, public transport system, government can come in with the policy of introducing public transport system. Federal government can have it. State government, in the past, we used to have, like in Benue State, we used to have Benue Links. But the Benue Links, if you go to the Benue Links Park, in those days, all the 23 local government have vehicles going to their local government headquarters. So if you are traveling to Boko, you will see Benue Links vehicle that goes to Boko from morning till evening. And if you are going to add the local government, you will see Benue Links vehicle that goes to add the local on daily basis. That is public transport system. Okay. But today it's gone. If you go to Adamawa, you see Adamawa line. You go to another state, you see state government should come in by coming in full force to making this a public transport system become very viable. The federal government as well, let's say from Abuja here, federal government can come in, even possibly establish what, even through the Ministry of Ministry of Transportation, they can establish one department within the transport ministry that will be in charge of this public transport system. They can buy electric vehicles in large number. Then all the 36 states of the federation, they will have one park within Abuja here. Then all the 36 states of the federation on daily basis will have vehicles going to such states, managed by federal government, subsidize the price and possibly bring the price down. If it is electric vehicle, the price will be down. In such a situation, most people would like to use their personal vehicles to travel to their states. They will park their car here and use public vehicle. That will save cost. The reason why you see Nigerians crying all over everywhere is because every one of us depends on fuel.
Exactly.
If you want to go to your workplace now, you can look for how to get fuel, to drive to your workplace.
Food insecurity that we are being faced with.
Everything is fuel. It's fuel. So now, like KAFTAN president said, when I listened to him, I said, this man is endowed in wisdom. So now, if you look at what is happening in the country today, they said the areas where the masses, the majority of Nigerians benefit from government, they say they have to remove subsidy. They remove subsidy in fuel, no subsidy in agriculture, no subsidy in the transport system, no subsidy everywhere. Now, the governors in government, they have subsidy. They subsidize their wardrobe allowance.
Exactly.
They subsidize their transportation. They subsidize their feeding. Even kitchen have budget. Those in government, they subsidize everything that they use. But where the majority of Nigerian populace benefit from government, no subsidy. You get my point? So the policy is somehow, but there is still a way that government can come in to helping the public. That's all. And the only way, first, is to establish public transport system where electric vehicles will be used across the 36 states of the federation, where electric vehicles will be used by federal government through possibly a department within the transport ministry that will be managing this and set up open one place called open one park in Abuja here, where if you want to travel to Akwa Ibom, you go there, you see vehicle that will take you to Akwa Ibom from morning till evening till night. Then the road transport system too, Ministry of Works can come in to ensure that our road network is okay. Since we are not, since the use of rail transport system is not in proper shape in the country. If rail transport system is in proper shape, with rail we can use the railway line to transport our farm produce from one section of the country to another section of the country. But as it is now, since the rail system is not working effectively well, all we use, we depend on, is normal road network. Exactly. And the majority of our road network in the road system in Nigeria, they are poorly managed. Exactly. So we are in serious trouble. We are.
But before I get to the next question, let's quickly hear from the scholar what he has to say. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you join us on the press. Your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Maiduguri. Your signal is very clear.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Please, let's have your thoughts.
Yes, my thought is, one, I want to disabuse the minds of so many Nigerians, some people who are busy shouting, Nelly Kyari should be removed, Nelly Kyari should be removed. My question is always, is Nelly Kyari the petroleum minister? Is he the only person in NNPC? If Nelly Kyari is removed and be replaced by one of the non-executive director of Wando oil company to become the MD of the NNPC, will that change anything?
No.
Everybody is asking Nigerians now is this oil business has been existing for all the years. Almost all the leaders in Nigeria are using NNPC as their ATM. Everybody knows about it. The trash has been hidden under the bed until now, when the sanitary inspector came into the house and said, let us sweep this thing out, it is then all of us are now in the trouble. So if we want to solve this problem, we all have to face it collectively, including all these people who build tank farms. From Metinkan, we just look around the coastal area, how these businesses have been building tank farms. These tank farms are not meant for exporting of Nigerian oil. These tank farms are meant for importation of refined product and be administering or controlling the fuel supply into the country. You know, so we all know this problem, but we are hiding it, keeping this thing in the other way around, and the unfortunate blame to some other person.
All right.
We are all like,
thank you very much.
Now, if I tell you the problem we face is that people buy fuel meant for Ibadan and divert it down here straight away to the border and cross it to the neighboring countries. This business has been happening over the years because of why? Subsidy. Now the subsidy, theoretically, subsidy is gone. If subsidy is gone, then the border should be controlled. All fuel for Nigerian consumption should be consumed within Nigeria. The one that for our export, those neighboring countries should buy it by themselves and export it, take it to their country. Nobody stop them. So these are things that we should look into if we want things to go well in Nigeria. We shouldn't keep blaming this person, we should face the reality. This is problem that all of us are facing. Please, I want to disabuse the mind of people and pinpoint it. Some of them were sponsored to start looking for Medicare removal.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. At this point, I will have to let you go to enable others join the conversation. Thank you very much, and do have yourself a wonderful day ahead. I was going to ask before the caller called. I came across a particular headline that says where the federal government has denied the increase of prices in the PMS petroleum. And I'm saying I am curious about that because I know that Mr. President is the petroleum ministry. I know Mr. President oversees it. So if the federal government are coming out to deny the fact that they are not aware of the price hike, who is responsible for that?
They are distancing themselves because NNPC technically is not being managed by federal government any longer. But the president of Nigeria is the minister of petroleum.
Exactly, my point is
petroleum. But technically, just as I said, technically and business-wise, NNPC.
Do you agree with the fact that the federal government is coming out?
The decision was taken by NNPCL. NNPC has management already that can take business decision on their own.
Are you saying Mr. President no longer have right to give directives of what goes on in the petroleum industry as the chief of that particular industry?
He has that power to give directive. But the power has limit now because it's no longer controlled by Nigeria totally. It's no longer controlled by Nigeria totally. That's why it's NNPCL limited. So there's a peg at which he can get to. He has no total control any longer, but he still oversees certain things. And the Melekere, just like the last caller said, Melekere, that there are people are shouting that Melekere should be sacked, is sacked. Even if Melekere is sacked and you bring any other person, the same thing will remain because anybody coming there, you are going to be implementing the policy of what the current administration wanted to do. Possibly, you get it. He's just executed something that he was assigned to do. He cannot do otherwise. Just like in those days when Mustafa was accused of killing Kudirat Abiola, he said in Oputa panel that he was just implementing order as a military man. He implemented an order that he was not the one who killed Kudirat, meaning the person who gave him directive was the one that killed Kudirat. It wasn't Mustafa. And Mustafa said it in Oputa. I was very small then, but I was in Oputa panel that very day. He said it. So he said he merely carried out an order given to him by a superior. And the panel chief of Chukwu Difu Oputa, he aligned with him that he was not the one that killed the Kudirat. He said it in the open. So Melekere is just merely executing an order given to him by a superior. So he can't do otherwise.
He can't do otherwise, but there should be an adjustment. But before I get to that point, let me quickly hear from this caller. Good morning. Well, glad to have you join us on the show this morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Okay, I'm calling from Puyo, Akwa Ibom.
All right, your name, please.
My name is Emelite.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts, and please, you have just 60 seconds.
The problem in this fuel issue is not really the presidency. They look too much on the presidency.
Okay.
What are the state governors doing? What are the local government doing? These things should be divided into sectors. The load should not be on presidency. What is the governor doing? We have 3 tiers. things should be divided to other people. Not presidency alone. Every time they will call presidency. Work don't come. The local government chairman or the councillors, all of the councillors that are very close to the people. Things be divided to every sector. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts, and do have yourself a wonderful day ahead. Okay, now Richard, let me ask you, do you think because we can't deny the fact that whatever the increment of food prices and every other commodities is being pegged on transportation, which has to do with fuel. Okay, it is now a critical situation. Nigerians are lamenting. Businesses are beginning to go down. The economy is beginning to go down. The entire economy is beginning to go down.
Nigerian citizens are even dying every day as a result.
Exactly. So do you think, and just as a last month, there was a protest for Mr. President to bring back the fuel subsidy. Do you think in the best interest of Nigerians who has voted the president in, it is right to reverse back the fuel subsidy?
Ordinarily, is germane for the fuel subsidy to be reversed, because as it is now, larger population of the country, of the citizens, they depend on fuel. If you are not making use of, because we don't have stable power supply in Nigeria, so the majority of Nigerians depends on the use of a generator. And generator, you use fuel and gas. So transportation, the same thing. Almost everything, vehicle, the same thing.
Exactly.
Even workers that they have increased their salary to 70% increment in salary now. Majority, 90% of Nigerian workers, they depends on fuel. Because without fuel, you can't even go to work. You understand? So as it is now, reversing the fuel subsidy is something that is very, very hard now for this current administration to do.
Why is it very hard?
Since it's hard for the current administration, for instance, it's very hard. It will be very difficult to reverse the subsidy.
So are you saying the federal government would rather watch what is going on, rather watch the economy crash, rather watch people die of hunger, instead of reversing back the fuel subsidy?
That's what I'm saying. In any democratic system, what is the main thing, the main ingredient of democracy is dialogue. And now, listening to the masses now, they are shouting that this policy is against us. We don't want it. Ordinarily, government should reverse it to the old order. But since it will not be easy for the government to reverse, why it will not be easy is that many interests they have come in. I told you, Brigade have been in Nigeria for the past how many days, and Dangote is there. Okay, the same Nigerians are saying that Dangote should be giving supply of crude to manage NNPC. And now, government have listened to Nigerians and allowed Dangote to have free access in the NNPC business. Now, Dangote and some other business moguls, they have come in to taking over Nigerian petroleum. As it is now, the capitalists, they have taken over Nigerian petroleum industry. And since they have succeeded in taking over Nigerian petroleum industry, anyone shouting that fuel price will come down, we are just wasting our time. The only way government can help us now, as we speak, now, in the last 4 to 3 days, the president is in China, trying to woo investors from China to Nigeria. No,
if you are saying the president is in China trying to woo investors,
what I am saying now is that the real way government can help us is what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying. But if you look at it from the other side, or the other angle of it, you see that even foreign investors are beginning to leave because of so many challenges.
Foreign investors are beginning
to leave. So people are leaving. And you're not even creating a...
So what I am saying now, in the transport sector, since the president is in China, that's why I say you should hold on for me to land. Since president is in China, the Chinese people, they are known for electric vehicle manufacturing.
Okay.
They are the ones supplying almost all over the world. Even to US banned them. France said they shouldn't bring it to their country and some of those things. So they can come to Africa. They are now capturing. See, there's serious struggle for Africa capturing. China is succeeding. They have a just summit now for the African president, where our president was equally there. So now they can use this opportunity to talk to Chinese government then to come in by bringing in these electric vehicles into Africa, even in Nigeria in particular, if they can bring it in surplus into the country for use, and government can come in to buy large quantity of it to be used by Ministry of Transportation. Once transport system is subsidized by the use of electric vehicles and the CNG vehicles, you see that fear, we know even there will be less attraction to fuel in Nigeria. That's the only way that it will help us. Then China, they are good in rail construction too. They can bring them in. They have been here. Maybe the past administration before this government wasn't doing anything enough to see that the rail system become very effective. If this current administration have that willpower, that political will to ensure that our rail system come back to life again, like in the old when we were small. In my local government, there was a rail transport system from Kaduna through other local government to Enugu to Port Harcourt. If they can bring it back to life, I think there will be a very serious. The burden will be reduced from the complaint going on now will be reduced. So now that the president is in China, these are some of the things he has to discuss with them. Business discussion should come in from this angle. So that is what I am talking about.
All right. Let me hold it there before we move on to other headlines. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning to you, my.
Good morning. Glad to have you join us on the show. Your name and where you're calling us from. And please, you have just 60 seconds.
Good morning to you. My name is Nobleman. I'm calling from Kaduna.
All right, Nobleman from Kaduna State. Please, let's have your thoughts.
My first point is that what we need is love for the country.
We can barely hear you. Can you please speak up a little so we could understand what you're saying?
I think my first point to add to the topic, what we need is love for the country by the leaders and by the followers.
Okay.
I believe that if our leaders truly have love for this nation, they will bring politics that will eliminate suffering that the people are going through.
All right.
By the time we have good leaders that have love for this country, we will see the difference. Most of these policies that are being implemented, they are capitalist policies. And we know people in government now, most of them are capitalists before now, when they came to power.
All right.
So it's not that the issue of where cannot be resolved. It can be resolved, but by the time we have the government that really have the people at heart and believe that the people should live well,
all right,
we'll see the difference.
All right.
The second thing I want to ask, when we are young, we do hear that we export good oil so that it will bring revenue for the country.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're only hearing about importation, exporting our crude oil and importing the fuel back. It's like all attention is on the fuel that we're importing. Nobody is talking about the crude oil itself, the money that the crude oil is generating. What is government doing with it? It's only all about the importation of the refined fuel that we're talking about. Nobody is talking about this crude oil that they are exporting, because the crude oil is also a revenue for the country. Nobody is talking about the revenue for the country that is coming from the crude oil. It's only the imported fuel that we are talking about. So I want us to look at that area and talk about it.
All right.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
May God bless Nigeria with the way you end this. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Ayodele from Ilorin.
Ayodele from Ilorin. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
To make things done easy and quick, you understand, is to simplify it. Like, the person that is speaking in your station is trying to make it broad somehow by saying it's not easy to reverse the subsidy, this and that, to bring the electric vehicle. It cannot be done. Because if you not look at the matter critically, it's a matter of business. And those people behind the business, they can never make it work. I've watched the documentary now on YouTube. If you see, the people behind all those things, they are killing all those innovative ideas. Go and check it on YouTube. You will see 10 forbidden technologies that even Even that technology is being, invested. But there's nothing to do like calling, petrol again. But due to the personal interest of those people behind all the business, they can never make it work. Okay. Now, let's refer it to Nigeria here. This is where in Nigeria. And it's very, very clear that the white people that are behind all this thing. And they were just using the black people because of their black evils. They know they are evils. So they are just people that are just using it. To simplify it,
mind the kind of word you use on air. Black people are not evil.
No, let's just.
And please kindly round up with your thoughts.
You say what?
I say round up with your thoughts to enable others join the conversation.
To simplify it will just divide what the government is all about. It's the art of managing the people and their resources.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. I really do appreciate it. We'll have to let you go to allow others engage in the show. Thank you very much and have yourself a wonderful day. All right. So I was going to ask one last question before we move on the other to onto other headlines. What is your thought, or what do you think has happened to our refinery so far? You talked about the president trying to go to China to partner with the Chinese government, bringing in electric vehicles, which is okay. But what about our refineries? Because last time, it was just last week, I was here on air and someone called from Port Harcourt and said that the government are giving us fake promises about our refineries, that he could even go, that he lives very close to where the refinery is located and no work is going on there. But before you take that question, let's quickly hear from this caller. Hello, good morning. Glad to have you join us on the show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
It's Mekano from Java.
Mekano from Java. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes. Messi.
Kindly turn down the volume of your TV set, please, so I could hear you clearly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, very well.
Yes. The way how this my brother is talking of this transportation. Yes, we agree with it that transport can help in the problem of the country.
Okay.
But my brother, go to rural areas. Go to rural areas and see how people are suffering on this issue. Can you carry motor from, we are having motor from Lagos to Abuja. When you reach Abuja, let's say you carry motor from here to Kaduna, can go to the other rural areas. You see, the problem is, we know the problem in this country. To go with me, if we cannot revise this issue, wallah, we are in problem. Because people are, even now, as I'm telling you, I enter motor from Kaduna to Ilori. Do you know how much? It's almost 30,000 instead of 12,000. This suffering is too much. Let's revise it. Is it the only country? Look at the other countries. They are revising it. They were in the issue. They were in the system. And they revise it back. Are we the only person in Africa? Or are we the only person in the world? Please, my brother. Issue of transportation is only 1 over 100 of the problem of the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution and have yourself a wonderful day ahead. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Glad to have you join us on the show. Your name and where you're calling us from? Okay, Smart. Please go ahead with your contribution.
I'm coming from River State.
Okay. All right.
Based on the situation of us, so new, I see this our democracy as people who doesn't have objective of where to go. Number one, people from this party, they will just go to other party, start having any aim to do their part, to do everything like my elder brother said. Like transportation is key of everything. Yes, I agree with him. But Nigeria can still restructure, saying that Dangote and the other person business like have come to capture our petroleum, that there's no how it can be reversed. So I disagree. Government is government. They can change the engineering, change the constitution, change everything, and say that they sold MEPA, so everything privatized. We are dying. That is not, we don't like it.
Okay.
Imagine that the president don't have proper access to NNPLC, NPLC, they are limited now. All that kind of imagine that they cannot even survive, that is in China not to drink electrical. No. Let the government take over all the sector, all the government sector, and begin to handle it themselves. That will enable us to have employment too.
All right.
Now they sold everything. So even if it's meant for them to sell the Astorok, sell the president and make a contract. Everything contract. Who is Dangote to capture Nigeria business and they cannot revise it back? No.
All right.
Please, we are not happy.
All right. Thank you very much.
Of people agitating to divide the country.
All right. Thank you very much for your thoughts, and do have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Richard Oriri, please take that question. What do you think? What should happen to our refineries, or what do you think is happening to our refineries? Is the government paying enough attention to our refineries?
What is there is that since the idea of a subsidy is no longer in the mind of government, they are out now not to, they don't even have the mindset to manage anything on their own again.
Okay.
So the refinery to reviving our refineries, the ones on ground that we have been shouting they should revive, they will not revive again. The only thing you will see is you will hear, the next thing you hear now is that they have privatized those refineries, selling it to private sectors for them to manage. And selling it to private sectors means, I keep saying it, Nigeria, we have come to a complete capitalist state where government don't manage anything again on behalf of the masses. That's why you see crisis almost everywhere, almost in all the countries that practice democracy in Africa today now. There's so much crisis because of this Western policy of no subsidy, no private-owned, public-owned enterprises anymore.
Okay.
That's why you see most citizens in other countries shouting now, calling for socialist states, socialist ideas to come in instead of capitalism. Socialist idea now is why you see military taking over some countries within the African sub-region. Because, to be frank, democracy is in a serious crisis in Africa. Democracy is in crisis because public-owned enterprises, they no longer serve the people. They have privatized them, sold them out, and now the capitalists, they have come in, suppressing the masses with exorbitant prices. So the crisis will keep going on. As I said, capitalists, they have come into taking over our petroleum industry.
Okay. And
the idea of any thinking of say price will come down. Just I align myself totally with what KAFTAN president said, the President Adebayo. He said the price will keep going up because they are in for business. They are not after your cry. What they are after is their profit. It's not what concerns you, but what concerns them. So now the government can only help us by channeling policies towards areas where the masses will have relief.
Okay.
And that is why I keep talking about the transport system. If they can bring in electric vehicles that, like the brothers who said from Bauchi where to one country, one state, about 30,000 or 4,000. Now from Kubwa to Gwarimpa, it's around 1,500 naira. So in Abuja here, look, check the rural areas where there's no good road. Where you have good road in Abuja here, transportation transport price has gone up, skyrocketed. Go to the rural area where there are no roads. Anybody that have the mind to put his or her vehicle on that bad road, the price will triple. So Nigerians are in serious trouble. So for refineries, my brother, my sister, government don't even have interest in reviving it anymore. They are waiting for investors to come in and say, I want to buy. Then they will privatize it, they will sell it to private hands. And as they are selling to private hands. What the private hands are going in for is profit.
Exactly.
So
do you think is the best selling our refineries to private firms? Do you think is the best for Nigeria? Are you still seeing
other public enterprises in Nigeria running? Can you see this NNPC again? And then the last one standing before was NNPC. It's the NNPCL Limited. It has been partially privatized. You see our Nikon insurance, they've sold everything. Nothing again. Even a communication system, they sold it. Before you go to where your post office, you do some of those, you can't even see all those things again. Before even this rail we are talking about, railway system, they will privatize it. Government don't want to stress themselves, say I'm managing this. And that's why we see us, we don't even have jobs. No employment in the country. In those days where some of these things functioned, use Nikon luxury belonged to the government before, they've sold it. Nikon Hilton Hotel is government property, they have sold it. Now it's the owner of UPA that owns it now. Elumelu is the owner of Heating today. So they have sold almost everything. They are not managing anything by themselves again. That is Western ideology, Western policy. And that is the reason you see, democracy is in trouble in Africa. Democracy is in trouble because the masses, most of the people in government self, they don't even go to research on public policy matters. Any government that really want to serve the people, your concern should be about public policy. And when you come up with these beautiful policies, the next thing, implementation, you bring in people with patriotic mindset that will implement these policies, give you feedback, and the feedback will be very objective. But today, even those who are implementing this on the field, they are the ones sabotaging government effort, and they cannot give good report back to government because they are the one that have committed a crime of not implementing these policies well in the field. So the whole thing is so worrisome. So
are you saying that the hands of Mr. President are tied and can do nothing for Nigerians?
The best thing for him to do, those who are not implementing policies in line with his agenda should be sacked.
Okay.
The president may have good intention for the country, but those who are managing these departments, ministries, agencies on his behalf, most of them, they are not doing things the way it should be done. And if we identify some of those people, they should be sacked. They should be sacked. Now, oh Jesus.
I see. I can really see that everybody is feeling the heat. It has gotten to the heat is really too much. But I'm surprised you're saying all this because I've always known that you are one of the people who acknowledge that Mr. President has beautiful policies and of course the best interest for Nigeria.
But the implementation is the problem.
Mr. President is the commander-in-chief.
Yes.
So with that he can give out orders to the best interest of the masses, irrespective of being owned by private or public offices. He has the right. He, as the commander-in-chief, still have the right, and he still has, he's the only one who still have the power to give directive, whether irrespective of whether being private-owned companies or public-owned companies. But let's leave it there and go to where this headline says massive flooding to hit 7 states soon, says government. And I am surprised. Why would my question exactly is, year in year out, it's not like the government or these people are not aware of what is called rainy season. We have majorly raining season and dry season, and of course the rainy season will always come every year. Now every year they come out to shout flooding here, flooding here. During the dry season, what are this government doing in place to prevent this flooding? And some time ago, I think in the National Assembly, some of them have moved several motions and bills concerning erosion and flooding. And we understand that most of this water comes from Cameroon. And now, okay, there was a time that there was a bill or motion to drainage of the water that comes from the Cameroon. But yet, we don't seem to see any efforts being made in that regard. Now, year in, year out, lives are being lost, farms are being destroyed, which now incur more hunger crisis, and so many other things. Buildings are being collapsed. We lost not just lives, we also lost things that are beneficial to people and the country as a whole. What do you think is the way forward? Are we going to keep lamenting and crying over flooding year in, year out? Is the government doing enough in that regard?
As we are mentioning government, we should equally be talking about ourselves as citizens, because most of the problems caused by us as citizens, the Nigerian citizens, building on waterways is wrong. But because your person and the waterway, you build a waterway. If you see you want to throw your refuse, you look at the drainage system, you go and throw it there. The whole place will be blocked. When water comes and there's no space for the water to pass, it will overflow. And that's what is happening. And across the 36 states of the Federation, the Ministry of Environment and Sanitation, they are not doing up to, they are not discharging their responsibilities well. Because if they are discharging their responsibilities well, town planners Ministry of urban planning.
Yes.
Works and urban
housing
something planning. They equally have to come in, because every city, every urban area, even rural area, even local government, there should be a proper town planning where they would say this place is water channel. Nobody will build there. You will plan it and people will buy land according to specification. But today, no proper planning of any city, and people build anyhow. People put their buildings anyhow they want it. Even in Abuja, the FCT, Federal Capital Territory here, people put their building on top of even waterway. So it's a general problem that we cannot just shift to government alone. We citizens equally have to help the government by doing the right thing at the right time. Then the water coming from Cameroon, since we know that on yearly basis they release the water from their own dam, as they are releasing it, the channel that it passes through
comes to Nigeria. Yes.
So the area where that water they release from Cameroon passes, government like Ministry of Water Resources and rural water resources and sanitation, they have to go into that department, to that session. Don't remain in the office when the dry season comes. That is no rainy season. Go through that section of the country, ensure that there is serious proper drainage system, that the water coming from Cameroon will be channeled towards our River Niger, River Benue. We have where we can channel the water to, that will not overflow the bank of the river, then going to destroy people's farm, people's houses, as we used to see. So that is just the whole thing. It's willpower. When government have that willpower to do something, they will do it. But the political will is not there. And that is why we always wait for the time to come. And when the time comes and the problem is before us, we will not be shouting, running hater-scatter. That is a fire brigade approach. That is our own ideology here. But it's not the right thing to do. It's not the right. And to me, some of these people in government, to me, they are allowing it like that, so that as it happens, it gives them opportunity to steal money. To me. So because once the flood comes now, they have announced. Once it comes now, you will see them running head gasket. Hey, I'm rushing here. I'm going here. The one that have happened in Bauchi, the complete bridge was cut off. That even people from Medugri.
Exactly. Even in Kano, we saw that which happened in Kano.
So they know that this will happen. That bridge has been there for long. And what has caused that bridge collapse now is this water system. Possibly there's no space or it was not properly arranged.
Obviously.
So government should go in and citizens too should equally assist.
All right. Let me leave it there and talk. Let's look a bit into the last protest. And you are aware that some of the protesters were arraigned and charged to court. And my people are beginning to ask this question: are we still in the democratic government? Because we know that it's the fundamental human right of people to protest when they don't feel good with some policies or steps made by the federal government. And now, in this case, people who have come out to protest has been charged to court by the federal government. What is happening to our democratic system of government?
Were you part of the protesters?
Part of the protesters.
Yes.
I covered the protest as a media person. Yes.
Why I asked the question is that how many of these protesters were charged to court?
I think 10 of them are, if I'm correct.
Out of 1 million people.
Yeah,
protested. Meaning they may have government may have something against them.
That is what I'm saying. If the government had something,
out of 1 million or 1,000 people, and you can find 10 people to say this thing you have done, this thing you have done, this thing you have done is against our national security. It's an allegation.
Okay.
It's just a mere allegation, which as a citizen you have your right under the law to defend yourself. If an allegation is against you, it doesn't stop there that you will be jailed or you will be killed. The best thing is to defend yourself. They have the right to allege, and you who have alleged will equally stand to prove it. And you, that the allegation is against you, you have to go in to defend yourself. So that is why they have gone to court. The court is an open field for every person to go and ventilate his or her grievances. Say, help me. interpret this section of the law. That is the role of the court. So you are not there. The both from the two parties, they are in court now for say you did this. I didn't do it. Why do you say you didn't do it? You prove yourself. Simple. So it's not something that we should be shouting government this, government that, government that. So see, we have rights as citizens. Me as a citizen, if I am going against the national interest of this country, going against national value, national security of the country, then I am not a good citizen. And that I am not a good citizen, I should be. The provision of the law, there is a provision in the law that will serve me well by punishing me not to be a good citizen. And if I am not found guilty in that aspect, I will not be punished. You get my point? So,
exactly.
So anyone that have been alleged to have committed 1 or 2 crimes, I think the people that they have charged to court, they have lawyers standing for them. If they cannot defend themselves, they have lawyers standing for. In most cases, even if most of these political things we do, if you are led that I do this right, sometimes I don't even call lawyer. I go myself because I know that what you have said is wrong, and then we stand for myself.
All right.
It's not every case you even stand for yourself. You even call lawyer to defend you.
All right. Before we sign out, let's quickly hear from this caller because our time is already fast spent. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, glad to have you join us.
Someone is calling from Delta State.
All right. Please go ahead with your thoughts, and you have just 60 seconds.
What I'm talking about this protest is that actually we have a right, but destroying government properties on a protest is very bad. And on the side of government, what I overheard was that whether some of them use their money to sponsor terrorism and so forth. Let there be good investigation. It should not be just alleged and in order to penalize the people for nothing. That is bad. We have our own right. It's good to protest.
All right.
So that government yourself should take note and do the right one. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, and have yourself a wonderful day ahead. And our time is fast spent. If you look at the time, is already 10:29, and that's where we'll draw the curtain on today's show. Thank you so much, Rusha Oriri, for coming. I always know that you are my viewers. You are my viewers. Well, you are one of my viewers' favorite. Thank you so much for coming and giving your contribution to this matters that are making route on our national dealings. I really do appreciate that. Well, until we come your way some other time, I am Messi Emelite. Keep watching KAFTAN TV and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.